right, everybody, we are inside of Power Director. This is the main screen, and this is where you would access projects that you're currently working on. These are kind of these listed down here. These are all pretty much fake projects. I just made these just for the tutorial, basically. And then you have your new project button right here, this large rectangular button. You would click that to start a new project, obviously. Quickly, before we start a little new project, to quickly run through, I'm going to click this upper left hand corner tab here with the 3 horizontal lines. Click that. This is where you can access tutorials and tips. One of the places where you can access tutorials and tips, videos you've already produced, basically finished videos that you've done with Cyberlink, your preferences, and signing in to Cyberlink, and just other kind of information stuff. But I'm just going to click on this tutorials and tips to show you some of the options in terms of tutorials that are actually on Cyberlink that they provide for the user. And when I first started using Cyberlink Power Director, I started out with the free version, which was nice, and I very quickly went to the paid version, which I have no regrets about at all, because it's only $34 recurring yearly. So $34 a year, and you get a lot of value for that $34. It's well worth it, particularly if you do a lot of stuff with editing and video and graphics through your phone specifically, because if you're going to go desktop only editing, I think I can tell you the best editing suite to use right now, in my opinion, for that. But I might save that for another video. Probably will save it for another video. But point being is, you get some very useful tutorials. I didn't use tutorials a lot when I first started with Cyberlink, but when they finally got the capability to do chroma key, that's when I watched the chroma key tutorial, and I was like, oh, okay, these are some relatively well done and clearly helpful and easy to understand tutorials. So I would recommend those. If you watch tutorials from the very beginning of your journey, you'll probably improve much quicker than I did when it comes to using this software. So let's go back and let's go ahead, and we're going to start a new project. This is just going to be a very quick kind of, I say quick in quotation marks, because, this probably might end up being like a 20 or maybe even more minute video. We'll see. But this is going to be a very rough, we're not actually trying to make something that we're going to actually put out into the world. This is just going to be able to show you, let's change screens, or let's start the project. This is just going to show you the process, how things function, basically. So when you click start new project, this is the screen you're shown. This screen will be different for everybody, because the first thing you're going to see are the videos, kind of a list of the videos that are on your device, right? So these are all just random screen recordings, screenshots, and just videos and clips and things that I've already done for other things that happen to be on my device. And you can select from these to put these into the timeline if you want, but we're not going to do that here. We're going to take a look at an aspect of Cyberlink Power Director that I think raises the value. Really, you start to see the value in this product. Okay, so you have a very large library of stock videos and photography from iStock by Getty Images, GIFs or GIFs. I still can't remember how that's pronounced. I'll just say GIFs for the purposes of this video. But you have access to the GIF library from Giphy, Pexel's video and photo library, Pixabay's video and photo library, and then for a limited time, you have access to Shutterstock's library, because I think after the 28th of this month or something like that, they're going to stop contributing to to Cyberlink Power Director, the app, I guess. And I think they're going to be replaced with somebody else. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sources for vast amounts of stock images and videos that you can use in your video. And these are just the kind of the video options that I talked about. So, you know, if you, let's just say dogs. You want to do a video about dogs, you're going to put dogs into the search bar. This is iStock by Getty Images. You're looking at their library of dog videos, right? And it just keeps going. It keeps going. It just keeps going. We haven't bottomed out yet. And this is just iStock by Getty Images. And then what you want to do, let's keep dogs in the search bar and let's just slide over to Giphy. And now we're looking at all the GIFs that Giphy has in their library related to dogs. And it's same thing, it just keeps going and going and going. Just lots of options. Slide over to Pexels, you get the idea. So not only are the libraries very vast, but very easily accessible. You can type in one search word and just through scrolling over, access all of the different, you know, these 5 different stock image libraries. Now, these are just the videos. It's the same thing with photos. I clicked photos up above, and now you can look at all the photos of dogs that all the different libraries have. So, this is great for B-roll stuff and just, like I said, stock video. So we're going to start a project with just some stock video, just a quick project just to show how you can link things up and just how to put things into the timeline. So what we'll do, let's go ahead and keep it with dogs, since that's kind of who doesn't like cute pets for the most part. So you can't go wrong on the internet with dog or cat videos. That's one thing I've seen. So let's go ahead and let's just, and you click, you can well, these are the photos. I didn't get out of photos. Let's go back to videos. All right, yeah, so let's just, all right, let's go here. We got a dog with its head hanging out the window. All right, so let's grab that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab about 3, maybe 4 clips of dogs, and we're going to bring them into the timeline. And let us grab one more right there. And usually once you download a clip, it usually downloads fairly quickly. Obviously, if your phone starts to build up, you know, it starts to run out of storage space, things can slow down. But usually it's pretty quickly. All right, so here we are in the timeline, and the timeline is in horizontal aspect ratio, obviously. So if you want to do a vertical video situation, what you would do is you go up to these 3 dots up here that are next to this upload arrow. You click on these 3 dots, and then this menu opens up that gives you access to your aspect ratio among other things. So you click on aspect ratio, and then the menu comes up at the bottom, and you see your aspect ratio options. We're in 16:9 now, which is optimal for long form YouTube video. But then you have the option for 9:16, which is of course what you're going to want for shorts and reels and TikToks and whatnot. Then 1:1, which is good, also good for Instagram. 4:5, also traditionally good for Instagram. And then you got 21:9. So what we're going to actually do, though, as popular as vertical video is, we're going to stick in the horizontal 16:9 just for the purposes of this demonstration. So horizontal, we're on the timeline. What you want to do, I think, if you've never used a mobile video editing suite before, you oftentimes have to zoom in and out by squeezing together your fingers on the timeline. Either squeezing them together to zoom in like so, or spreading them apart. Are you spreading them apart to zoom in? Excuse me, like so. getting in close on the timeline like this. And then if you want to zoom out to see more of the timeline, squeeze your thumb and your pointer finger together on the screen and things get more compact. So what we're going to do is just kind of quickly link these clips together through transitions. We're going to add some music and we're going to add some text, and then I'm going to do a quick just slide through of some of the graphical elements that are available, but I'm not going to actually go through them. That's for another video. So these clips, I'm going to shorten most of these because they're all kind of longer than they need to be. So let's see how this goes here. So this is the dog clip. I'll stop it right there. Doesn't need to be that long. Split and delete. So what I just did there, let me back up. I don't know if this necessarily needs to be a part of this tutorial or not. I'm going to show you how I cut that. So I found the part that I wanted it to kind of stop at. That's enough right there. So what you do is you click on the clip that you want to edit, and edit options open up at the bottom of the screen. Split will put the cut in the edit where the blue line, your cursor, your marker, where that is. When you click split, where that blue line is, that's where the split is going to happen. So click split, boom, you got your cut there. And now you can either delete the clip from either side of the split. So I want to delete the stuff that comes after the split in this clip. So boom, you hit delete at the top, and now that clip has been shortened. I'm going to shorten all of the clips because I don't want this to be some sort of long video. Stop that there. Select split, delete. Next clip. So sled dog, or not a sled dog, it's a retriever with kids. Stop, split, delete. This is a really simple way of editing. This is not meant to be like an impressive edit. It's just to show you the functionality of stuff. Next clip, let's start from the middle of the clip. Split, and then instead of deleting the part in front of the blue cursor, let's delete that. Boom. All right, so all in all, and let's actually, how long is this clip? It seems like this might be kind of a, all right, stop that there, split, delete. All right, so we got all the clips to the length that I want them to be. Now I'm going to add transitions to link all of these clips. Now it's not necessary because you can just leave them, these tabs, these square tabs. Let me zoom in a little bit. These square tabs that are linking all of the clips, you click on those, and that is where you're going to place transitions. Once you click on one of those square tabs, transition options pop up at the bottom here. You see you got your basic transitions that have a lot of the fades, zoom outs and wipes and all that type of stuff. And then you have 3D transitions, which gives all sorts of options for page turning graphics, 3D blocks kind of spinning around, all sorts of kind of options. You got film roll transitions, glitch transitions, slides, seamless transitions, sparkles, just all kinds of, you know, however you want to do it. Morphing transition. So what I'm going to try for this first tab, let's do a morphing transition. And actually, let's just use a sparkle. Let's use a sparkle transition. And there's kind of there are a lot. So I'm going to click a sparkle type transition. Let's go here. Now another transition. For this, let's do a fade transition. And then this final tab, for that transition, we are going to go with I'm going to go with the morphing transition. Just go with that one. I don't know how it's going to turn out. All right. Now, what I'm going to actually do is I'm not going to look at these transitions until I add some music. So let's add audio. So you go down here to the audio tab at the bottom. Click audio. Then what you get is options for music, sound effects, and voiceover. You can record a voiceover just directly into the timeline. Like as a clip is playing, you can record voiceover. So great for all kinds of, uses. It's not the method I'm using for this tutorial, but it could be used for doing tutorials. So, but what we're going to do, we're going to look at the music. And in the music, this is another example of kind of you getting a lot of assets that come along with the software, because you have now, these are this is music that's available from Meta, and I haven't checked out their specific stuff, but they have, music in different genres and moods and all that type of stuff. But then Shutterstock, they have stock music available as well, just different moods, different types for different reasons. And then you have just general free kind of musical compositions in different styles. And then you can always hit download it to show music that you've already downloaded, that's just already in your phone. You don't need to re-download it or anything, and you can add this stuff into the timeline as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug my mic from the phone, because so that you can actually hear some of the music play, because for some reason when my mic is plugged in, it affects audio that's played out of the phone directly. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but kind of trust me on that. I'm going to go ahead and take the mic out and just kind of play some of the musical options, and then I'll put the mic back in. So let's look at Shutterstock, what they got in terms of just, you can go action sports here. So boom, you got stuff for action sports in theory. Turn the volume down a little bit. All right, so I'm going to grab that, and we're going to bring that into the timeline. All right, so I got the mic plugged back in. We brought that musical piece called A Moment of Truth. We brought that into the timeline. It's not, it's just some music to put on the timeline. And then what we're going to do, I'm not even going to play this on the timeline yet. I'm going to add text, and then we can play the whole thing as a whole. And then we'll end the video, and there'll be more videos for some of the in-depth stuff regarding Power Director. But I didn't want this particular video to get too long. I didn't really know how everything was going to go. So kind of bear with me a little bit here. Or thank you for continuing to bear with me so far if you're still here. So let's add some text. So what you want to do when you want to add text, you go down to this bottom menu here, go to text, and like with seemingly everything else on this program, there are a lot of options, and when you dig deep into the options, you realize there's even more options than maybe you just initially thought. Because right here, these are default text styles, right? And this is useful. All of these are useful actually. And then you have colorful. You got all of this here. These are all customizable. You can alter all of these. So it's like, and then let me just run through them. Geometry, social media type stuff, text with cool effect. And then you have call out text. So it's just minimalist. My point being, clearly just lots of options for text. And the reason I'm saying it's even more options than it even looks like as I scroll through everything is like if you go back to default text, which I typically pick default text because you can just change it anyways to your liking. So I'm going to click this third option on the top row here. It's kind of just a white plain text with a thin black outline or stroke, as a lot of programs like to call it. Click that, add. Now it's on the timeline. Then it says tap to edit. So you tap it to edit, and this comes up so you can actually type in what you want it to say. So I'm going to just put dog days of summer. And center it. All right, so that's what I wanted to say. But as long as, and again, everything on the timeline, once it's selected, the option to edit it pops up at the bottom of the screen here. So I got the text selected. So down here, you have the option to edit the text, change the font, and get into Text Designer, which just further lets you customize things. So let's change the font. And you just have a lot of great options for fonts. I'm a fan of just, there's something about when you see a big list of different styles of fonts, something about it kind of sparks your creative inclinations, because it's just like you feel like anything is possible. Like, oh, I could do this type of story. I'm going to put this type of font on it and make it look real cool. And it is something kind of, it might just be me, but there's something kind of low-key pleasant about seeing font options listed in front of you. Maybe that's just me, I don't know. But so you get a lot of options for fonts here. And if you want to narrow it down where you only want handwriting fonts, calligraphy, monospace, whatever, let's go back and just look at all. And for the purposes of this video, let's go with this somebody else looking font, Dog Days of Summer. This might not even be the font that I would personally pick, but I don't want to spend the whole video searching for the perfect font. So here we go. We got Dog Days of Summer. That's the font I picked, but you can go further by going into Text Designer again at the bottom here. Click on that. Look, you got your color. You can change colors for things. Let's change this to let's go with maybe a light blue, I guess, baby blue look. And then you can also change the border. Now, I'm fine with the black border for this, but like if we wanted to change it to like a red border, you could do that. Whatever colors you want, but I'm going to stick with black for this purposes. So just a lot of you can add a shadow. I won't worry about that. And certain fonts lend themselves to certain functions better than others. Some fonts are so thin and skinny that you can't play around with the border as much as you could with a bigger, blockier font. And, again, I guess I'll repeat, it's called border on here, but on a lot of other programs, when it comes to text and the outline of a text, that's oftentimes is referred to stroke. But on here, they call it border. So the text can be edited. So that's the text right there. What I will add to the text is a text animation. That's also at the bottom of the screen here. Text animation, you click that, you have in animation and an out animation. So think along the lines of like fading in and fading out, that type of stuff, a glitch in, a glitch out, just certain things like that. So let's do an in animation, and we just want a simple fade. So I'm going to click fade. In the fade, yeah, that's a decent fade, 1.7 seconds, I guess. So we'll leave that there, and then we want to fade out as well. So out animation, and we want that to fade as well, and maybe shorten it a little bit. There we go. Let's bring this. All right. So now let's just play this. Let's play this. This is going to be about a 20-second little clip video with 4 clips, dog clips in it, some music, and some text at the beginning. So a very, very simple composition, but all right, I got the mic plugged back in. Now, one thing you will notice is, particularly on this last transition here, in the playback, when you just try to play back from the timeline, it kind of pauses there. And you can tell that it's well, maybe you can't tell if you haven't used this program before, but what's happening there is the system is kind of handling that transition. You can kind of see the transition. See, it's a morphing transition. The system is kind of handling that. But when you export the video, when you process it, that's going to run smoothly, that part. There's things in the timeline that you might get a pause or a hesitation during playback, but when you export the full video, that stuff is smoothed over. That pause and that hesitation is actually the software working with the graphics, the increased graphics. Because these spots where you have transitions happening, it's a short moment, but it's a graphical moment that's happening. So there's more processing power, there's more things happening in that moment. So what I'm going to do is, let's export this so I can play for you the actual playback. The, I guess, quote unquote, the real version, the skip free version. And when you export, this is, I guess I might as well tell you about this as I do it. Let me back out of this. When you export, you're going to go up here to this top right hand arrow. It's an arrow that's pointing upward. You click that. Now you get these options. You want to name your project. I'll just name this Dog Days. And you can select your resolution. I've got it at 1080p. You got the bit rate all the way up to the better quality end of the spectrum. And frame rate I have at 30 frames per second. You can do whatever you want. And right now it's set, the save location is set for internal storage. Me personally, I'm going for external storage. That's just usually what I do on this phone. All right, so we'll go produce. And then this is the screen that you get while your project is producing, exporting. See, there we go. It kind of speeds up a little bit. Like once you get around the kind of 12% area, things speed up. So, all right. So if the video finished producing or exporting, you have options. Once the video's done, you can share video on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, more, different things, add an intro, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to click done. And now we're going to go back and go to home, the home screen. And let's go back again and go to produced videos. And now let's watch the video that we just put together. All right, so as you can see, there was no kind of skipping or stuttering or any of that in the final playback of the video. So I wanted to kind of kind of show you that, so that, you know, if you and also too, this phone that I'm using, full disclosure, is an S8 Plus. So this is an old phone. I haven't had a need to upgrade, and that's why I'm still using this phone. It still works well, still, you know, graphically capable, still looks good. I can still play games on it, all that type of stuff. So no real reason for me to update yet. So that also, you know, I'd imagine the newer your phone is, the smoother a lot of graphical and video editing, the smoother that process is going to run. So just keep that in mind as well. Everything I'm doing on this phone, this is an S8 Plus, so this is an old phone. But yeah, so you might get some kind of hesitation and slight stuttering in your playback in the timeline, when it comes to particularly the graphical elements and overlays, and just some transitions are more kind of require more power than other transitions. That might go without saying, but maybe it's necessary for me to say it. So yeah, there will be moments where you're editing on the timeline and some parts will kind of seemingly pause for a minute while the computer works things out, and then it keeps playing and whatnot. Just know that those moments are going to run smoothly and regularly in the final export of your video, as you just saw. So that is the video for now. That's a simple way, you know, just a simple video put into the timeline. I didn't do any really truly fancy editing or cuts. I did very minimal amount of cuts. You know, the text was very simple, very generalized, just the music was just music I picked just to pick it. It kind of fits well with some of this because you got a lot of slow-mo stuff going on and whatnot. But yeah, so none of this is meant to be like, hey, this is a exciting, you know, high quality video. It's really just meant to show you the functionality of the software. So there will be more videos coming where I kind of dive into some deeper aspects of things, such as some of the special effect overlays that are available, just to give you a preview of what some of that looks like. You go down here to the sticker section at the bottom of the screen, and sticker sounds very like, oh, it's just generic static PNG type images, but it's actually, there's some decent stuff here. So I specifically like special effects. I go to the special effects, and this is what you can get with the special effects portion of some of the stickers. And these look noticeably just more slicker and dynamic than a lot of the other sticker options on Cyberlink Power Director. But just, it's a lot of options, you know, and if you're a creative person, you kind of know how to put certain things together, you can find a lot of use cases for this type of thing. And this is just the special effects. There's more animated overlays that you can use for different reasons and whatnot. And I'll get into those in another video. So this is the video for now, just a simple introduction to bringing media into the timeline in Cyberlink Power Director, the mobile app. So that is it, you guys. Thank you for bearing with me on this one. I will kind of improve the flow in the pacing and the editing of some of these tutorials. I know some people don't mind just kind of the longer conversational style tutorials. Some people might want something that's a little bit more quick hit, and I will have shorter videos that focus in more specifically on topics. So that is it. I will catch you guys later. Thank you for watching.